Well, welcome back to MLC Talk, powered by Willow Sports. We're here for episode 3, and I can't quite believe we're already coming to the end of what has been a historic leg of MLC 2025 out in the Oakland Coliseum, out on the West Coast. I'm Aaman Patel, joined by Zee Zaidi and Nate Hayes. As always, guys, we're already a third the way through the season, and what a start we've had.
Yeah, it's been an unbelievable leg, a lot going on, and I'm so excited about this show. We got a couple of super exciting segments for you all. One, we are joined by one of the most accomplished legends of cricket of all time. That'll be a great conversation, and I won't tell you who that is yet, but he's an Australian. And we're going to break down the overall Oakland leg, but end it with an amazing conversation with none other than Billy Beane, the legend himself behind Moneyball that everyone's been talking about. He joined us on MLC Talk, and we can't wait to share that with you. But before we do all that, Nate, why don't we have a rundown of everything that's gone on in this leg and where we are in the season?
We left off after Finn Allen's impressive 150-run outing, but that was just the start for MLC 2025. Game 2 might be the game of the tournament so far. Devin Conway's 65 from 44 withstood 5 wickets at the other end.
Got him! He bowls stump to stump.
But Calvin Savage's 53 from 34 helped TSK go from a 5 for 96 hole in the 12th over to a defendable total of 185 for 6.
They're going to come back for the second run, and he makes it. Just his second 50 in T20 cricket.
Adam Milne was electric defending the total, but Aaman Patel and Michael Bracewell partnered for 97.
Oh, he thought he had his moment, but Bracewell proves to be just enough. Well, that'll help. Full toss, met well. Aaman Patel gets it past Noor Ahmed for 4. Faf du Plessis, 40 years young, has just taken the catch of the season. The power of Pollard.
And he'll be loving this. Take a look at that.
New York were on the brink of victory until 3 massive runouts at the death sealed the fate for New York, and TSK stole victory from the jaws of defeat.
Oh, do not run between the wickets like this. Is it paired? Oh, another one! Yeah, beauty! Celebration City here on the west coast of the United States. Well play. Crowd cheering every run. Oh, he's lost his bat. Oh, kidding! Going to have to come upstairs, I reckon. Paul Wilson's going to be busy. Doesn't have to be. We've had another run out, folks. There's the third one. And it feels like it's as many minutes.
Game 3, San Francisco versus LAKR. Once again, San Francisco came out guns blazing as the red-hot Finn Allen teamed with Jake Fraser-McGurk for a 121-run second wicket partnership. Finn Allen's 52 from 27 put him well ahead in the run-scoring race, while McGurk's 88 from 38 was his best innings ever in T20 cricket. The Unicorns totaled 219 for 8, in spite of a combined 5 wickets from USA Pacers Ali Khan and Shadli Ben Skulkwik.
He's hit the ball so well today that even that one is middle to heels.
Runs flowing so easily for the home side. They've achieved the second highest total in MLC with this 219.
Unmuk Chan's 53 from 32 and Matthew Trump's 41 from 31 weren't good enough to overcome Xavier Bartlett and Horace Ralph, who each claimed 2 wickets in the chase.
Double-decker 6 into the tree room for the young Matt. Got him! Oh, a beauty! Horace Ralph on fire at the Coliseum! 91 miles an hour, he's knocked Russell over. Too quick, too good. Oh, been nailed here. Big Xavier Bartlett. 187 all out.
Game 4, Seattle versus Washington. Washington held Seattle to 145 for 9 in the first innings, as Ian Holland's incredible spell of 4 wickets for 19 runs in 4 overs included the scalps of Heinrich Klaassen, Aaron Jones, and Harmeet Singh.
Change of pace outfoxes another batter.
Rachin Ravindra top scored in the second innings with a blistering 44 from 18 as Washington chased down the target in just 13.3 overs. Game 5, TSK versus LAKR. Texas made the most of their final partnership between Daryl Mitchell and Donovan Ferreira of 61 runs in the last 29 balls to set a target of 182. In the chase, only Shadley Van Skultwick, batting at 9, scored more than 25 for Los Angeles, as Adam Milne, Stephen Wigg, and player of the match Nor Ahmed shut the door on the Knight Riders. Texas won by 57 runs. Game 6, New York versus San Francisco. Quinton de Kock arrived in this one, scoring 63 from 38 to open the innings, with some late help from Pollard and Sonny Patel to add to the total of 182 for 7.
That's the fireworks flying here at the Coliseum.
Whether you put a fielder there, you don't put a fielder there, a man that can hit the ball like that, it doesn't matter.
Carmine LaRue gets it in the right area.
A certain Kyron Pollard cutting loose.
In the chase, New York took 4 wickets in the power play.
Be gone. Aaman Patel holds on.
4 in the power play.
But Tim Seifert and Hassan Khan's 64-run 5th wicket partnership set the stage for Xavier Bartlett's unlikely heroics.
I'll see you later. Hassan Khan has latched on, sends that to the DJ. Man out there, straight to him.
Coming into Monday's game, Bartlett had totaled just 4 sixes in his entire T20 career, but by the end of the night, his career best figures of 59 runs from 25 balls included 5 sixes, blasting San Francisco to a comeback victory with 3 wickets and 5 balls in hand.
Well, we're going to come back for 2. Even with the injury, 50 to Xavier Bartlett.
Game 7, Sai Mukamala top scored with 30 from 23 and Marcus Stoinis blasted 28 quick runs from 12 balls as Seattle's creative bowling attack limited the dangerous Super Kings batters to a mere 153 for 6. But the TSK bowling attack proved to be even better as Zia Ul Haq, Andre Berger, and Nor Ahmed took 3 wickets each en route to bowling out Seattle to win by 93. Game 8, a fast start by Mitchell Owen for 32 runs from 11 balls put Washington on the right track, but 4 wickets in the first 8 overs gave Glenn Maxwell a tall task. With support from Opus Pinar, Maxey blasted 106 from 49 to set the target at 209 for the chase. The Freedom bowling attack took over from there as 5 different bowlers took Knight Rider wickets, including 3 from both Jack Edwards and Mitchell Owen. Each of LA's first 3 batters was dismissed for a duck, but the most impressive stat line of the second innings belongs to USA superstar Saurabh Netravalkar, who accumulated 18 dot balls while conceding only 6 runs in 3.3 overs with 2 wickets. Washington won by 113 as LAKR's woes continue. Finally, Game 9, Kyle Myers blasted 88 from 46 as Seattle took apart Naveen Ul Haq for 64 runs in his quota. But Mayank Patel and Michael Bracewell teamed up for 119 runs as New York became the first team to chase 200 runs in MLC. New York won by 7 wickets with an over to spare, and Mayank's 93 runs, while just shy of a century, were the most ever by a domestic in MLC history.
One-third of the way through the competition, and this table is showing just some signs of a pattern. It's showing us who the top 3 teams so far are, and it feels like they're the top 3 by a distance at the moment. Let's start with Washington, because they had probably the shakiest start of the group. They lost on opening day, but since then, they've been brilliant.
Just as convincingly as they lost on opening day, they won on Tuesday night even more convincingly. Maxwell with that huge century in a hurry. We had some amazing contributions from the bowlers. The bowlers across the team have been fantastic. Everybody they've thrown out there has done a tremendous job. You really only have one bowler with an economy over 8.33. Of the bowlers who are getting most of the action, we've got 6 wickets from Ian Holland. We've got Owen with 5 wickets. Edwards was 7 wickets. Saurabh Netravalkar was incredible on Tuesday night, conceding only 6 runs in 3.3 overs. At one point in his first 18 balls, he had a dot ball on 16 of them. The team really bounced back from that early loss, and they just look fantastic. They have 3 batters with 90 or more runs and a strike rate higher than 204. That's just, I mean, they're really on fire right now.
Yeah, I got to say, they are a team. We know they're the defending champions, but this team looks so different than the team that won last year. And even the bowling attack, right? You've got Saurabh, who's kind of consistent, but a lot of the bowlers, weren't here last year. And we just figured it would take them a second to gel and for Ricky Ponting to kind of make it a cohesive unit again, but seems to have happened pretty quickly, which is good for them.
Yeah, and it's been about the Pacers for me. Ian Hollins, 4 for 19, all back of the hand, slower deliveries. But then you look at the games they've played, and since opening net, they've bowled just 2 overs of spin. It was Yasser Mohammed, really when the game was all settled up, to get 1 over in. And then Glenn Phillips bowled just the 1 over. Now he's gone, and so they really acclimatized themselves to conditions. I think Mitch Owen's a huge asset for them. He gives them that extra pace bowling option, especially without Lockie Ferguson, with the injury he picked up at the back end of the IPL, not available. It just gives you so much depth, and that team with that pace bowling group looks so refined. I'll be curious to see when they get to Dallas, when they get to Fort Lauderdale, how much they start using someone like a Rachin Ravindra, someone like a Yasser Mohammed, if he's more consistently getting overs, and how they go about that spin attack. Even Mark Chapman can come and roll his arm a bit if they need to, now that he's going to be in the 11 more often than not. The Texas Super Kings are next. They're second on the table just by run rate, but they've been perfect to start the season, and they've been dominated by the domestics, which might be the coolest thing about the Super Kings at the moment.
Oh yeah, 3 wins, 3 player of the match performances from the domestic player. They have depth at the domestic positions. I talked to Calvin Savage earlier. He said there was a lot of competition on this team for chances with the domestic players. 8 different bowlers on the team have wickets already. 6 of their batters have an average over 30. 8 of their batters have an average over 22. They're not losing wickets, and they're taking wickets. This is a really dangerous team.
Yeah, Z, when we look at this team, Nandre Berger came in for 1 game and was electric, was zooming the ball around. I mean, and then you still have Devin Conway, who's been brilliant, and Simon Kamara at number 3, maybe the surprise of the tournament so far, how many chances he's getting.
Yeah, at Sai, like Nate said, Calvin, Shubham, like we've been psyched to see our domestics, but I gotta throw one other name in, which is Nur Ahmed. Not a domestic, but these guys at TSK are one of the fortunate ones to have an Afghan player make it in time, and what a weapon and a difference maker he's been. Faf is very familiar with him, right? Used him a lot in the IPL. Faf knows how to deploy Nur Ahmed, and he's doing it to great effect. And obviously, they have the benefit of stalwarts like Faf and Stoinis, but especially Faf. I mean, that catch, I guess, was just ridiculous, right? He's a 40-year-old man who's doing things that like no 20-year-old can dream of doing. And so you put it all together, our domestic stars with their international stars, and this team looks unstoppable.
40 years young, as Andrew Leonard called it on air. It was quite brilliant, that one-handed screamer that he took. Let's move on to San Francisco now. They're at the top of the table, maybe to no one's surprise, but they've done it in a variety of ways. Nate, what have you seen from the Unicorns?
Well, 4 of their batters with at least 59 runs have a strike rate over 190. That's 4 batters on this team with at least 59 runs and a strike rate of 190 in 3 games. Bowling, they've only got 6 bowlers with at least 4 overs, which means they know what their bowling is, they know what their plan is, but 5 of them have an average of 32 or less. All of their bowlers have an economy of at least 8, but they're taking wickets. Their bowlers have combined for 28 wickets in 3 innings. Haris Rauf and Hassan Khan have been absolutely fantastic. We also have seen some of the best performances with the bat in players' careers. Bartlett with the best batting performance of his entire career. Finn Allen with the best performance of his entire career. This is an electric team. A lot of people are saying this is the team to beat. A lot of the teams around the league are saying this is the team to beat.
Yeah, I mean, they look unstoppable, right? Match after match. I mean, their last match, it did look a little touch and go, right? Against MI. We're starting to have questions about whether they're going to win or not, but they've also shown that when they're on the ropes, they can come back. I mean, a couple of standouts for me, obviously Hassan Khan, you talked about him. As a bowler with the bat as well, he comes in and he accelerates. for the team, and he takes them to, solid totals. The other one, like you said, Haris Rauf has been taking wickets, but even with the bat, he knows how to anchor and a partnership, rotate the strike, and in these, middle to late overs, really help his partner run up the total. So I think all the pieces are coming into place, and we all picked them to make it to the final, and I don't think any one of us is coming off that.
Yeah, no, not at this stage. And again, there's so much depth. They can use any number of their resources. Those are your top 3 from the tournament so far.
Been really impressed by the professionalism of the league and the franchises involved. The World Cup was here, obviously, and I was wondering, how real is it? Like, what's the opportunity in the US for cricket? Off the field, I've been really impressed at every level, getting to meet the franchise owners, investors, the sponsors, Major League Cricket staff and crew, and how passionate they are about creating something and growing something here. So that's been wonderful. The fans, clearly there's an interest and a passion for the game here, and that hopefully will only grow and will grow beyond the sort of South Asian diaspora, but into the more local American community over time. Go to the on-field, and that is the key component. The on-field has to be high quality, and I've been really impressed with what we're seeing. We've got world-class players here, mixed in with American players that are only going to benefit from that opportunity. And the pitch, which is so important, as anyone that knows cricket knows, that is the most important part of a day's cricket. It's been exceptional. So really excited by it, really impressed with what I've seen.
Is there any domestic player that sort of caught your eye in the days that you've been watching?
In the first few games, there was some great performances. I think the names that jump out for me as an observer from afar are the guys that have been featured in the T20 World Cup last year. Aaron Jones, Andreas Goose. They're the names that cricket players around the world, or cricket followers around the world, will look to this tournament and go, okay, cool, that local talent is sprinkled in amongst the rest of the tournament that's going on. It's just such a wonderful opportunity for the local talent to feed off the international visitors that come in.
How amazing was that to have one of the legends of the sport of all time share his thoughts with us? And what was really striking was the way towards the end, he talked about the domestics being the anchor for this league, not just here, but also abroad, to help attract other viewers, because our domestics through the World Cup are actually known overseas. So let's talk about our domestics in this tournament so far, guys. Who are some of the domestics you think have been stepping up and performing, and what are the things, the moments that you've liked, or some of the surprises? Nate, why don't we start off with you?
Sure. Well, first of all, I just want to say how amazing it is, how terrific it is that 2 of our best domestic standouts in the past have only got a game each so far, and we're still getting great contributions from our domestics. It just goes to show the depth. We have Cameron Gannon's only bowled in 1 game so far, and Mohammad Mohsin only played 1 game so far. Both of these guys were dominant in the last couple of seasons, and both of them have only played 1 game. We've gotten great performances still. I'll tell you who's also impressed me, even though he's only got 1 game, and that's Brody Couch. I think that Brody Couch needs to be in this USA squad. He's bowling rapid, and he bowled earlier, when the wickets were really good for batting. So I'd love to see him in the team. Ahsan Adil has been great. Harmeet Singh's been his typical self. We saw a game from Stephen Wigg. The bowling has been fantastic from our domestics.
Aaman, who's been striking you?
Yeah, I think right off the bat, Ian Holland's 4 for 19 was such a striking innings, and it's because he was amongst the USA team, and now it's been 3 years since we've seen him repping the red, white, and blue, and it's hard to fathom when one of the things that we desperately need is that fast bowling all-rounder, and he seems to be such a vital option. But speaking of that, Shadley Van Schalkwijk was brilliant, 3 for 50 the other day. He was fantastic to see. Again, these are tough conditions for bowlers to operate in. You're going to get hit. Shadley and I were talking about it, and he said, there are times when I know what's come off the top edge of the bat, and I yell, catch it, and now it's 4 rows back. It's so tough, these conditions, but it's been brilliant to see them navigate it. I think Saurabh's starting to pick it up now. Hassan Khan's 43 from 17. I mean, he just does this consistently. He did it at the minor league finals, for God's sake. And he said, yeah, I can just take that to Major League just like that. So I've been really impressed all the way around. But Ian Holland's 4 for 19 was probably my favorite innings amongst the domestics so far.
You know, guys, you've been talking about bowling and batting rightfully. I'm going to throw in some fielding. I am proud of our guys. Some of the catches we've seen from our domestics have been ridiculous, right? Yasser Mohammed took a ridiculous catch on Tuesday, which was awesome. That was like involved the backflip, right? We just that same match, Albus took a critical catch, right? Like a diving catch that we didn't know he was going to hold on to, and Matthew Trump has taken a brilliant catch as well, right? So our guys have proven that on the field they can hold their own, and that bodes really well for us for the future. So I'm proud of that side of our game as well. So domestic friends, and we love so many of you. If you want to sharpen your fielding skills, you need to go to that warehouse in New Jersey. Cool. Now, as I said at the beginning of this episode, I am out of my mind excited about one of the conversations I was able to have this week. There was all this talk about the heritage and the history behind Oakland Coliseum with Moneyball and Billy Beane. And on our show on MLC Talk this week, we have none other than Billy Beane himself talking about, not only Oakland and Oakland Coliseum, but cricket, right? He actually has involvement in cricket, which is not that well known among American cricket fans, and he shares that with us. So without wasting any more time, let's jump over to this conversation with Billy Beane. Billy, thank you so much for joining us.
Good to see you again.
So tell us sort of specifically how you got into cricket and what your involvement is right now.
And it was mainly as an investment stake. My partner had this opportunity through Rajasthan Royals to invest. I also made another investment as an individual outside the partnership. And really, that was my sort of first professional or investment connection to cricket. We got it a good time because the IPL has been incredibly successful. It's being broadcast over here. I'm a Willow subscriber, so I watch Willow TV. I added it to my cable package, and it was perfect for me. I'm an early riser, so the IPL season, I could get up and watch the matches early in the season. My interest in cricket even came before that, mainly more out of curiosity again, with the use of data and analytics, which is, really the trajectory for that for all businesses was on its way up. But the other thing too is, it was a little bit of soccer. Listen, I believe cricket's the second most popular sport in the world. Just because we don't follow it here, the rest of the world can't be wrong, right?
Obviously, there's the MLC, Global Stars, with American domestic players. This is season 3. For the first time, they're playing it in Oakland Coliseum. Tell me about your impressions of cricket in America and how surreal it is to have cricket being played at the Coliseum.
Well, it was really surreal to turn on the TV and to see sort of the backdrop of my whole career. When I say backdrop, the backdrop of the stadium, the wall, even, where, I saw great players hit home runs, Giambi, Tejada, Chavez. I thought it was pretty cool, actually. It was nice because I certainly have fond memories from a baseball standpoint with the Coliseum and the Coliseum itself. Again, most of my professional career was spent there. So to see an event in there, I was happy. So not all baseball stadiums, particularly with the way they're built now, with the intimacy with stands and field, the Coliseum is one of the stadiums that actually lends itself to be able to play a cricket match because of the size and the space that they have on the pitch. So, and in the end, I thought it was really cool. And I was also pleasantly surprised, relative to the expectation that the attendance was good, which I think is great. It made me hopeful mainly because my prediction years ago was that this was a sport that was going to grow in the U.S. The other thing about cricket and baseball, the skill sets for the athletes is very, very similar. I would expect that it's going to continue to grow as people become more aware of it. Having a league itself is the start. MLS started that way. Just having a domestic league for somebody to go to will be helpful. It will take a while, certainly, but I'm sort of bullish on where it's going. The elements that make American sports popular are there with cricket, so I think it's an inevitable that it's going to happen. Would be pretty cool to see an American-born cricket star, which I believe at some point will happen, given the amount of cricket I see in my own neighborhood.